A very sickly, weak, and cognitively glitching Donald Trump just got confronted to his face by European leaders, the coalition of the willing, as they are calling themselves, supporting Ukraine. This followed Donald Trump's disastrous press conference earlier in the day that we covered here on the MeidasTouch network, which took place in the Oval Office with Ukrainian President Zelenskyy. The second part of the day had this meeting with the European leaders who were there. Donald Trump kept on cognitively glitching. For example, Donald Trump said, "Where is President Stubb? Where's Stubb? Where's he at?" It's the president of Finland, who was sitting right across from Donald Trump, literally right across from Donald Trump. Watch this. This is how the meeting started. Here, play this clip.
President Stubb of Finland, and he's somebody that, where are we here? Huh? Where? Oh, you look better than I've ever seen you look. But you've done a great job, and we wanted to have you here because
he was literally sitting right there. Then Donald Trump keeps on saying, well, we're going to see if we can do a trilat, meaning a trilateral meeting between Putin and Zelenskyy, and maybe we can then put this to sleep. That's your strategy. Your strategy is just say the words trilat and put this to sleep, huh? Here, play this clip.
And we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished. Put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this.
So then the European leaders, like Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz, said, look, we think that there should not be anything happening until Russia agrees to a ceasefire. We are all here, the European leaders who are sitting here today, Donald, to confront you and say there's got to be ceasefire first. President Zelenskyy of Ukraine agrees to a ceasefire. It should be Putin who now agrees to a ceasefire if we want to end this conflict. Then Donald Trump responds by saying, well, look, I've resolved 6 wars already. 6 wars I've resolved, and they didn't need ceasefires. He's just making this up. Like Donald Trump's like, I solved the India and Pakistan war. I solved Rwanda. He just makes this stuff up, and he just looks so utterly delusional in front of these world leaders. But it's amazing. These world leaders have Zelensky's back, and they're pushing forward against Trump. Here, watch this.
Last Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today, are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out. And if we can do that, I will say, and again, I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points.
So then the president of the European Commission, von der Leyen, says, well, not only does Russia need to agree to a ceasefire right now, which Zelenskyy does, Russia needs to return the 40,000 Ukrainian children who they've kidnapped, who they are sex trafficking, who they are torturing. They need to return the children. That's a precondition, Donald. Watch what transpires. Here, play this clip.
Every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you. And we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's a big That's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Then you have the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, and she says, I want to be very clear why I'm here. We are on the side of Ukraine. Do you understand, Donald? We are on the side of Ukraine, not Russia, and we need to all make sure there are strong security guarantees for Ukraine and that there is a ceasefire agreed to by Russia because Ukraine is agreeing to it. The war ends tomorrow if Russia just agrees to a ceasefire and stops killing innocent Ukrainians. Donald, here, play this clip.
We are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Then you have Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who says, we're not just talking about Ukraine here. The European leaders here, we're here because we're also talking about Europe and the common defense of Europe. Europe stands shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine. Here, watch this.
Affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue.
Then you have President Stubb, yes, Donald Trump, he's the one sitting right across from you right there, who you golfed with last month. Sitting right there. And then the president of Finland says, let me explain to you why I'm here and why this is important, because I'm going to give you a history lesson, Donald. We are very close to Russia. You want to look at a map? They're not going to stop at Ukraine. They come for us next. Do you understand that? That's why we're all together, shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine. Watch the president of Finland speak. Here, play this clip.
Some of the international media might wonder, why is the president of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we, of course, have our own historical experience with Russia from World War II, the Winter War and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Donald Trump's attack on climate policy is already causing massive consequences. Let's switch gears and break it down for just a minute. Here's the reality no one on Fox is going to tell you, and you probably won't even hear much about this on legacy media. Your electric bill is going up because of Donald Trump. Since Trump took office, household utility bills are up 10% nationwide, and a brand new report from Climate Power just revealed that it's about to get way worse. And it's because Republicans literally took a sledgehammer to clean energy. Trump's budget bill ripped away solar and wind investments just as energy demand is surging from AI and data centers. And instead of fixing it, Trump's Treasury Department just pushed new rules sabotaging even more clean energy tax credits, meaning fewer renewable projects, weaker grid, and yes, higher utility bills. Let's be super clear. Over 64,000 clean energy jobs have already been lost or stalled since Trump took office. 13,939 megawatts of energy was wiped off the grid from canceled projects, enough to power 8.4 million American homes. And the Republican rate hike will cost the average family $170 more per year in the next decade, with some states paying over $400 more. Oh, and here's the kicker. Most of those lost jobs and canceled projects are in Republican-held districts. So Trump isn't just kneecapping America's clean energy future, he is screwing over his own voters. This is a self-inflicted crisis caused by Republicans protecting their oil and gas donors. Your bill is going up because Trump wanted ExxonMobil happy. Think about that. Let people know that when they open their higher utility bill this month, they know exactly who to blame. And also, leave your thoughts about this and the climate in general in the comments. Too many politicians and talking heads in legacy media say you don't care about clean energy, so sound off and let's prove them wrong. Okay, Ben, back to you.
Oh, and then Prime Minister Keir Starmer dropped this video of himself flying into Washington, D.C. Play this clip.
This war in Ukraine has been going on a really long time now. I mean, 3+ years. Hugely impacted the Ukrainians who suffered hugely, but it's also impacted Europe. It's impacted every single family and community in the United Kingdom. And so everybody wants it to end, not least the Ukrainians. But we've got to get this right. We've got to make sure there is peace, that it is lasting peace, and that it is fair and that it is just. And that's why I'm traveling to Washington with other European leaders to discuss this face to face with President Trump and President Zelenskyy, because it's in everyone's interests. It's in the UK's interests that we get this right.
And then bizarrely, Donald Trump, while all of this conversations are taking place at the table, Trump turns to Zelenskyy and he's like, well, I think that you'll find Putin's actually a good guy. I think you'll find that he really wants to do something with you, Zelenskyy. I think he really wants to help you out. Really, Donald? Really? Here, play this clip.
So we are happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr.
Thank
President. You. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves.
Just take a look right here at how French President Emmanuel Macron just looks at Donald Trump when Trump's saying this stuff, and he's like, he turns his head like, you must be a big moron. Here, play this clip.
And I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great.
And by the way, here, there was a hot mic moment when this meeting, right as this meeting was taking place, and Donald Trump speaking to French President Emmanuel Macron. And in case you can't hear it, here's what Donald Trump says. I think he wants to make a deal for me. Do you understand? As crazy as it sounds, Putin wants to make a deal for me. He wants to do it for me. That's how gullible you are. That's really where we're at right now. Where Donald Trump's talking to French President Emmanuel Macron. Putin wants to do me a solid right now. Here, play this clip.
I think he wants to make a deal. I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand? That as crazy as it sounds. Just sit down. Sit down, everybody.
Okay.
I think we'll let the press come in for a minute.
Now, going back to the table of the European leaders, again, as you see the leaders from Finland, you see French President Emmanuel Macron, the Georgia Prime Minister, the Italian Prime Minister, rather, you see the Germany Chancellor right there. You have the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. You have Zelenskyy at the table. That's who these people are at the table. Donald Trump then says, look, Putin agrees to security guarantees, so we've got that. Putin wants all of Ukrainian land, Donald. He wants all of Donbass. He wants all of Zaporizhia. That's what he wants. He wants all of Kharkiv. That's what Putin wants. Okay. And then Putin is going to go after Finland next. Realize what's happening, Donald. Here, play this clip.
In a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine. And this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure.
So then Donald Trump tries to hedge, and he's like, okay, well, obviously we'd all prefer a ceasefire, but I'm just not sure we need to do that. Here, play this clip.
All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelenskyy and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult.
President Zelenskyy, knowing he has his true allies by his side from Europe now, he talks about the importance of bringing the kids back, exchanging prisoners, security guarantees, territorial integrity. So you see what's going on here? Europe, aligned with Zelenskyy, are saying, here are our conditions. We're not buying in. We're not being weak the way you are, Donald. Here's what we're saying needs to take place. Here, play this clip.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees. And we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday, and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help. And I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children, and I hope that really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy and
get the people back. Yeah.
Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both want me there, I will be there. Yeah,
yeah, you know, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bringing kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. And guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you help a lot, and so we are happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
And then remember, earlier in the day when Donald Trump was with Zelenskyy, he said, I don't think you need a ceasefire. Here, play this clip.
Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I don't think you need a
President
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it.
And here was Donald Trump saying it again. I don't think you need a ceasefire. Play this clip.
You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept, you know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
And then Donald Trump just said earlier, he went from there'll be peace in 24 hours from when he gets elected to now, look, the war will end when the war ends. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one.
And then finally, here's French President Emmanuel Macron. Here's what he had to say. Play it.
And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need these security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitments, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months among the coalition of the willings, with the support of NATO, to build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in the situation. So you can count on us, as we can count on you, in order to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Powerful display of unity by European leaders with Zelenskyy, pushing back, showing strength to Donald Trump's face. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.